The time is now to fade Connor McDavid and his chances to win a fourth Hart Trophy. This is the FanDuel 5 early NHL season overreactions, or perhaps, Carlo, proper reactions. When it comes to McDavid, are you with me?
I am with you, AK, just because you look at the start that the Edmonton Oilers have gotten off to, and it's a tough one. And you wonder if this team is still reminiscing of the heartbreaking loss, losing the Stanley Cup final in Game 7. I mean, the NHL feature, the face-off on Amazon Prime, is clearly in their minds every time somebody watches it. And so the feeling is so fresh, you wonder where this team is going to finally find its motivation to start playing again, because when you get to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final, there's so much invested in that. And when a new season starts, you think to yourself, oh man, we got to go through another long season to get to that point. I think the Edmonton Oilers are struggling to get there. I mean, just look at their offense. Their power play's bottom 5 in the league. They average just 2 goals a game in 10 games. And yes, McDavid has 10 points in those 10 games, but now he's, suffering through a little bit of an injury. Don't know the extent of how long he's going to be out. But I just think there's better candidates right now that are having better seasons and have the outlook to have even better seasons as the season moves on. I mean, you look at what Nikita Kucherov is doing in Tampa Bay without Stamkos. He's scoring at his highest pace throughout his career right now, and you wonder if the season he had last year, losing on the Hart Trophy, how much he'll be motivated to do it by himself this year. McKinnon and Makar in Colorado. I know McKinnon won it last year, but these guys are having incredible seasons, putting together a Colorado season, keeping it together because of all the injuries they have. But even a surprise name like Kirill Kaprizov and the surprise Minnesota Wild right now and the start that he's had, so many more other candidates right now that are worthy to be in that conversation rather than McDavid right now.
I'm totally with you. And you have to factor in, when it comes to an award like the Hart Trophy, the most valuable player in a sport, a lot of it has to do with narrative. And regarding McDavid, the only narrative that matters for him is winning the Stanley Cup. And I think when you consider everything that he encompasses, perhaps he wins the Art Ross. I think at this point in time, the Hart Trophy is a major stretch. I would absolutely take the field as well. On to overreaction number 2. With just 4 goals in his first 10 games, Austin Matthews will not win the Rocket Richard Trophy. Someone else will. Coco, what do you make of this one?
Yeah, I'm buying the field on this one, AK, because to expect the guy who scored 69 goals last year to replicate that, or even something close to 50, or even just replicate winning that trophy again is a tough ask for a guy. And look, Austin Matthews, even though he only has 4, he leads the league in shots on goal, so he is getting his chances. But you just look at the system he's being asked to play under Craig Berube, a lot more demanding, a lot more defensive focus. You wonder if him not scoring will actually get to him. But he has been playing really well. But it's too chalky for us, man. It's too obvious. I want value when I'm looking at this play, because I look at other guys that have gotten off to great starts, including a guy he just recently played in Kyle Connor, who scored 47 in his career, got close to that 50-goal mark, maybe could get close to the league leaders. He already has 8 and 9 games. And another guy that I'm looking at is Artemi Panarin, who's a Hart Trophy candidate, but he's also a guy coming off of 49 goals last year. He's got 6 and 8 games. He's plus 3,000, and Kyle Connor's plus 4,000. To me, those are great value that's great value right now on 2 guys that have gotten off to great starts. And if they keep up that great start, they can find themselves near the top at the end of the season.
I understand the value proposition with guys like Connor, guys like Panarin, but when it comes to Austin Matthews, he scored 60 goals twice. Panarin and Connor have yet to score 50 a single time. And as crazy as it is to say out loud, Austin Matthews at plus money to win the Rocket Richard is an auto bet for me. The guy's the best goal scorer on the planet by far. Maybe you could make an argument for David Pastrnak being able to keep close to Austin Matthews. But I'm not worried at all about the slow start for Matthews through the first 10 games. I think he gets rolling in a major way, especially when the Toronto Maple Leafs power play gets rolling. Let's talk about Linus Ullmark, overreaction number 3, and the Ottawa Senators goaltending situation. Sens fans should be concerned with what's going on in goal. Is that an overreaction?
Yes, that is an overreaction, because Linus Ullmark has only played 4 games, and it's still early on in the season, but he's also been nursing some sort of an injury. So you wonder if he's even 100%. But the good thing for the Sens is that this team early on in previous season has completely eliminated themselves from playoff contention because they've gotten off to extremely slow starts. Right now, they're still winning hockey games because they're outscoring their problems. They have a top PP in the National Hockey League, with top 5 in goals scored and second in power play units. So right now, their offense is doing their job, and it's only a matter of time as Linus Ullmark gets more comfortable in the net, gets more comfortable in the new arena surroundings that he finds himself in Ottawa, which is sometimes a challenge for new goaltenders in new places. I have no doubt that the Ottawa Senators will be fine in net as long as Linus Ullmark is leading the way.
I just wonder with Ottawa and their goaltending, if it isn't necessarily a goaltender problem, it's a roster composition problem. And whether it's DJ Smith as their coach or Jacques Martin or now Travis Green, there's something that has been complicit here for a long time now with regards to the Ottawa Senators and the inability to keep the puck out of their net. Now, Ullmark is a Vezina Trophy winning goaltender when he's healthy and on his game, one of the best in the National Hockey League. But a number of guys have failed before him. We'll see if Ullmark is able to hold up his end of the bargain at $8.25 million a year. Cole Caufield, 8 goals in his first 9 games. Overreaction here, perhaps, Coco? Caufield gets to 50 this season?
Yeah, I think this is an overreaction. And look, it's an incredible thing what Caufield has done and the start that he's gotten off to and the number change and playing for Johnny Gaudreau. It's absolutely awesome. But this is a guy who scored a career-high 28 goals last year. And every time I watch Cole Caufield play year after year, he's a very streaky goal scorer. And this is part of a streak that I think he started this season. Now, the big question is, if he does keep this streakiness up, he'll probably end up getting 50, but I'm not ready to bet on that just yet because Montreal is still a team that is a little bit offensively challenged outside of its top line. And it's most likely than not in most games this year going to find themselves in challenging situations to score goals. So there's a lot to like about Caufield. I think he's a guy that can push 30 goals this year, maybe even get to 40, but I think 50 is a lot to ask for a guy like Cole Caufield right now who throughout his career has been a very streaky player.
I'm totally with you, but man, would that be an incredible story to see Caufield get to 50, something that a Montreal Canadian has not done in a long time. All right, final overreaction here on the FanDuel 5 early season NHL overreaction. Sidney Crosby, just 7 points in his first 10 games, does not get a point a game this season. He's 19 for 19 in his NHL career, Coco. What do you make of this?
Wow, we're really going there with one of the best players to ever play the game of hockey in Sidney Crosby, eh? Look, I'm not willing to go there. I'm not willing to bet against Sidney Crosby. And yes, it's been a little bit of a slow start for him, but Pittsburgh's got a really, really big problem on their hands. They've got a roster construction problem. Sidney Crosby went from playing with Jake Gensel and Brian Rust last year to starting the season playing with Beauvillier and Drew O'Connor. That's a big downgrade considering how good this guy has been throughout his career. And now Rust has been lost for a little bit with a little bit of an injury, and they've moved Raquel up to him to see if they can try to ignite his offense because Malkin has gotten off to a great start. He's got 14 points in 10 games. I think on the positive side here, Pittsburgh's power play has improved significantly. They're up to 14th in the league right now. I know it's early on the season, so maybe he can bank a lot of those points there. But right now for Pittsburgh, they've got goaltending issues that doesn't really make things feel positive on a day-to-day basis there when you know you can't keep the puck out of their net, you're not scoring at the pace you want to score at. But for Sidney Crosby, come on. This is a guy that year after year continues to find ways to get productivity with playing with average or below average players. I think he still finds a way to do that now in this season. And I'm not the one to ever doubt a guy who wears the number 87 on his back and a guy that plays with so much pride and a guy that's committed himself to a Pittsburgh organization that still has no identity. And maybe when they find it, he can find a way to find that surge in productivity that he's missed so far in this season. But I think still Sidney Crosby still finds a way to continue that incredible points per game streak.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. And they say there are no guarantees in life, point production for Sidney Crosby, as close to it as you'll get. This has been the FanDuel 5 Overreactions